If nothing brings you joy anymore, if the food you once loved now tastes like cardboard, if music that used to move your soul now feels like noise, if your favorite activities suddenly seem pointless, empty, meaningless, you're not depressed, you're not broken, and you're definitely not losing your mind. Dolores Cannon spent 45 years documenting something extraordinary through thousands of regression sessions. She discovered that this specific feeling, this loss of joy, this emptiness, this flatness, only happens to souls going through the most advanced stage of spiritual awakening. And if you're experiencing this right now, if this is describing your exact reality in this moment, this video found you for a reason. Because what's happening to you isn't random, it's sacred. Let me describe exactly what's been happening to you. You wake up in the morning and there's this heaviness, not depression exactly, just nothing. The things that used to excite you, hobbies, socializing, even simple pleasures, they all feel flat now, colorless, like you're going through the motions but not really there. People ask you what's wrong, and you don't know what to say because medically nothing is wrong. You're not sick, you're functioning, you're alive. But something fundamental has changed. Food doesn't satisfy you the way it used to. Entertainment doesn't entertain you. Conversations feel shallow. Even the people you love seem distant, like you're watching them through glass. And the most confusing part? You can't explain why. There's no trauma, no obvious trigger, it just happened. And when you try to talk about it, people tell you to snap out of it or find a new hobby, or maybe you need medication. But deep down, you know this isn't depression. This is something else entirely. And you're right. Dolores Cannon was a hypnotherapist who worked with thousands of clients over 45 years. Through her unique regression technique called QHHT, she discovered something that changed everything we understand about spiritual awakening. She found that certain souls she called the volunteers, came to Earth during this specific time period to help with what she called the shift from third-dimensional consciousness to fifth-dimensional consciousness, from density to light, from separation to unity. And these volunteer souls, these advanced beings who agree to incarnate here, go through very specific symptoms as their bodies and consciousness upgrade to match the new Earth frequency. One of the rarest symptoms she documented, one that only the most advanced souls experience, is this exact feeling you're having right now. This loss of joy, this emptiness, this flatness. And here's what she discovered about why it happens. Your old three-dimensional self is literally dissolving, not metaphorically, not symbolically, literally. Your carbon-based cellular structure is transforming into a crystalline structure. Your DNA, the dormant strands that scientists call junk DNA, are activating. Your light body, which has been dormant for lifetimes, is coming online. And during this transformation, there's a period where you exist between two worlds. The old pleasures don't work anymore because your frequency has risen beyond them, but you haven't fully adjusted to the new frequency yet. You're in the gap, and the gap feels like nothing. Let me explain what's happening energetically. Think of yourself as a radio that's been tuned to the same station your entire life. That station played all the songs you knew: pleasure, pain, excitement, boredom, desire, satisfaction. That was third-dimensional consciousness, a reality based on duality, highs and lows, pleasure and pain, getting and losing. But now your soul is being retuned to a completely different frequency, the fifth-dimensional frequency. During the retuning process, you lose the old station. The signal breaks up. There's static. There's silence. But you haven't locked on to the new station yet. So there's this period, and it can last weeks, months, even years, where you're between frequencies. And in that space, the old joys don't register anymore. It's not that you can't feel joy, it's that your system is no longer calibrated to the old three-dimensional version of joy. Dolores Cannon discovered that this is actually one of the final stages before a complete light body activation. She called it the dissolution phase. Your ego identity, everything you thought you were, everything you identified with, all your preferences and desires and attachments, is being systematically erased, not to punish you, but to make room for your true multidimensional self to emerge. The caterpillar must completely dissolve in the cocoon before it becomes a butterfly. And right now, you're the dissolution. You're the sacred mess. You're the death that comes before the rebirth. There are 7 distinct ways this emptiness manifests, and understanding which type you're experiencing will help you recognize that this is not random. This is orchestrated by your higher self. Type 1, physical emptiness. Food loses its taste. Nothing satisfies your hunger anymore. You eat, but it feels mechanical, like your body is eating, but you're not really there. This means your physical body is releasing its attachment to dense, low-frequency foods. Your cells are preparing for a lighter diet. Type 2, emotional flatness. You look at people you love and feel nothing. Not hatred, not resentment, just neutral, like you're watching actors in a play. This means your emotional body is releasing codependency and emotional entanglement. You're preparing to love from a place of wholeness, not need. Type 3, creative void. Hobbies that used to bring you joy now feel pointless. Art, music, writing, creating, it all seems meaningless. This means your creative energy is being redirected internally. You're creating a new self, the most important creation of your life. Type 4, social detachment. You don't want to see people, not because you're depressed, but because social interaction feels exhausting and hollow. This means your energy field is expanding and becoming more sensitive. You're protecting your frequency while it upgrades. Type 5, existential numbness. Life itself feels meaningless, not in a suicidal way, but in a what's the point of any of this way. This means your soul is questioning all third-dimensional programming. You're preparing to see through the illusion of separation. Type 6, sensory dullness. Colors seem less bright. Music sounds flat. Nature doesn't move you the way it used to. This means your sensory system is recalibrating to perceive higher frequencies. The old spectrum is fading as you prepare to see beyond the visible. Type 7, purpose confusion. You have no idea what you're supposed to be doing with your life anymore. Your old goals feel irrelevant. This means your soul mission is about to be revealed. But first, all false purposes must be cleared away. If you're experiencing 2 or more of these types simultaneously, your awakening is accelerating rapidly. This doesn't happen randomly. This emptiness arrives at the exact moment your soul is ready for the final stages of transformation. Dolores Cannon discovered through her research that the shift, the movement from third-dimensional Earth to fifth-dimensional New Earth, is happening now, not in some distant future, now. And certain souls volunteered to incarnate during this time specifically to help anchor the new frequency. But in order to anchor fifth-dimensional consciousness, you must first release your attachment to third-dimensional consciousness. And third-dimensional consciousness is built entirely on the pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of pain. Getting what you want, avoiding what you don't want, this entire reality is structured around desire and fear. But fifth-dimensional consciousness operates differently. It's not based on getting or avoiding. It's based on being, simply being.
And in order to transition from the getting, avoiding consciousness to the being consciousness, everything that gave you pleasure in the old way must fall away, not as punishment, as preparation. Your higher self is removing all the distractions, all the false satisfactions, all the temporary pleasures that kept you locked in the old frequency. Because where you're going, you won't need external sources of joy. You'll be the source. You'll be the frequency itself. But you can't know that yet, not intellectually. You have to go through the emptiness first. You have to discover that when everything external is stripped away, there's something that remains, something that was always there, something that doesn't need pleasure or excitement or stimulation to exist, your true self. This is not a time to fight what's happening. This is a time to surrender to the process. Here are 7 sacred practices that will support you through this dissolution phase. Practice 1. Stop trying to force joy back. Do not try to recreate the old pleasures. Do not force yourself to do things that used to make you happy. This will only create more suffering. Instead, accept that the old joys have served their purpose and are now complete. Practice 2. Sit in the emptiness daily. Spend 15 minutes every day simply sitting with the emptiness, not trying to fix it or understand it or make it go away, just being with it. This teaches your system that emptiness is safe, that nothing doesn't mean wrong. Practice 3. Simplify everything. Reduce stimulation, reduce noise, reduce social obligations, reduce consumption. Create as much space and silence as possible. Your system is recalibrating right now and needs minimal input. Practice 4. Trust your body's wisdom. If your body wants to rest, rest. If it craves certain foods, eat them. If it wants to move, move. Your body knows what it needs for this transformation. Stop overriding it with mental commands. Practice 5. Release all timelines. Stop asking, when will this end? Stop comparing your current state to how you used to feel. Stop waiting for the future version of yourself. Be exactly where you are without resistance. Practice 6. Find the neutral witness. Notice that even though you feel empty, there's still something aware of the emptiness. Find that awareness. Rest in that awareness. That's the part of you that's not changing. That's your true self. Practice 7. Write what's dissolving. Journal about what's leaving, not to hold on to it, but to honor it. Your old identity, your old pleasures, your old way of being, they deserve acknowledgement. Write them a goodbye letter. These practices won't make the emptiness go away faster, but they'll help you stop fighting it. And when you stop fighting it, you'll discover something extraordinary. The emptiness isn't empty.
If this emptiness is truly a 5th dimensional awakening symptom and not just depression, you'll notice these other signs happening simultaneously. You're avoiding people without knowing why, even people you love. You just want to be alone. This is your energy field protecting itself during the upgrade. You're losing interest in news, drama, and other people's problems. What used to concern you now feels irrelevant. This is you releasing 3rd dimensional programming. You're feeling a strange pull towards silence and stillness, not because you're tired, but because something in you craves the quiet. This is your soul preparing to hear its own voice. You're questioning everything you once believed: religion, politics, relationships, career, purpose. Everything is up for review. This is your consciousness expanding beyond old structures. You're noticing synchronicities constantly: numbers, symbols, coincidences. This is confirmation that you're on the right path. You're having vivid dreams or interrupted sleep, especially waking between 3 and 4 a.m. This is your soul receiving downloads during the hours when the veil is thinnest.
You're feeling nostalgic for a home you can't remember, a deep homesickness for somewhere that doesn't exist in this reality. This is your soul remembering the higher dimensions. You're losing the ability to pretend. You can't fake enthusiasm anymore. You can't force joy. You can't perform happiness. This is authenticity emerging. If 3 or more of these signs are present alongside your emptiness, this confirms what's really happening. You're not losing your capacity to feel. You're shedding the old way of feeling to make room for something infinitely more real. Dolores Cannon's research revealed something beautiful about what happens on the other side of this dissolution phase. Those who fully surrender to the emptiness without trying to escape it or fix it eventually experienced what she called the emergence of the 5th dimensional self. And this new self doesn't need external sources of joy because it exists in a state of perpetual okayness. Not happiness, not excitement, not pleasure, okayness. A deep, unshakable sense that everything is exactly as it should be, that you are exactly as you should be, that this moment is complete. It's not dramatic, it's not euphoric, it's not what you expected enlightenment to feel like. It's quieter than that. It's simpler than that. It's just okay. But this okayness is so stable, so constant, so independent of external circumstances that it becomes the ground of your entire existence. You stop needing things to go well to feel okay. You stop needing people to behave a certain way to feel okay. You stop needing your life to look a certain way to feel okay. You just are okay. And from that okayness, a different kind of joy emerges. Not the joy of getting what you want, but the joy of being what you are. Not the joy of pleasure, but the joy of presence. And once you know this joy, you'll understand why the old joys had to die. They were beautiful, they served you well, but they were training wheels, and you're ready to ride without them now. So if nothing brings you joy anymore, hear this. You are not broken. You are not less than you were. You are not losing yourself. You are finding yourself for the first time, the real self, the self that existed before you learned to seek pleasure and avoid pain, the self that doesn't need anything from the external world to be complete, the self that is already whole. This emptiness you're feeling, it's not the absence of something, it's the presence of everything. You just haven't learned to recognize it yet. Your old eyes saw joy in getting, in having, in experiencing. Your new eyes will see joy in being, in allowing, in simply existing. But the old eyes must close before the new eyes open. And in that darkness between the closing and the opening, there is this: nothing, sacred nothing, holy nothing, divine nothing. Trust it. You are exactly where you need to be. If this message resonated with you on a soul level, if you felt seen, understood, validated by these words, write in the comments, "I trust the process." These 4 words will anchor this frequency in your consciousness. And make sure you're subscribed with notifications on, because in the next video, I'm going to reveal the physical symptoms that start appearing right after this emptiness phase ends. Symptoms that confirm your light body has fully activated. You didn't find this video. This video found you, and that's not a coincidence. Nothing is.